Great. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today for the very last DigiMedFor webinar on traceability and ecosystem services, policy and DigiMedFor insights. It is a pleasure for me to be here with you today and to moderate this session. My name is Laura Ince, and I represent ELARD, the European Leader Association for Rural Development, the partner responsible for communication and dissemination in this project. So today I will guide you through the session. I will introduce the speakers and support the discussions. And of course, together with my colleague Annalisa from DBL, who is also supporting us during the whole webinar. So we have a very interesting program today, bringing together a policy perspective and project insights, project efforts on two very important topics, traceability and ecosystem services. And then let me present briefly today's agenda. We will start with a short welcome and introduction from our dear coordinator, Luigi Saulino, who will also give us a little bit of overview of the DigiMedFor project. After that, we will move to the first part of the webinar. Angelo Mariano, head of the due diligence team at Collegno, will begin with a presentation on the legislative framework for traceability. And then, of course, Luigi will present some of the DigiMedFor insights and efforts on this area. And then we will continue with the second part, focusing on ecosystem services. Here, Manuel Marín Megía, coordinator of the Sustainable Forest Management Department at PFC Spain, will introduce the legislative framework for ecosystem services. And then Luigi, our star of the day, will share the DigiMedFor insights on this topic. And then at the end, we will have a Q&A and discussion session. So please feel free to write your questions in the chat during the webinar. And then we will collect those questions and messages, and then we will discuss at the end. So thank you again for being with us today. And now I am very happy to invite our first speaker, Luigi Saulino, project coordinator and researcher at the Department of Agriculture at the University of Naples. So please, Luigi, you can share your screen.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you for your introduction. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to this last webinar on traceability and ecosystem services, policy, and DigiMedFor insight. My name is Luigi Saulino, and I am a forest ecologist at the Department of Agricultural Sciences of University of Naples. Now, today I'm here as a project coordinator, and today I will guide you through an overview of DigiMed project. This is a project funded by the European Union to promote innovation in Mediterranean forest management. So let's begin by looking at what this project is about and why it's so relevant today. A moment that I need to share the screen. Okay. Can you see the screen? Yes or no?
Yes, Luigi.
Okay, thanks, Manuel. So let's start for a moment. Okay, so here the project is founded under the Horizon Europe program, specifically is the Harnessing the Digital Revolution in the Forest-Based Sector. And it's fall under the Horizon Innovation Action. This also showed a strong commitment at the European level to support the digital transformation in forests. The project started on 1st June 2023 and ran for 36 months. We are now approaching the end of the project. So DigiMedFor is carried out by large and diverse consortium. In total, inside the consortium, there are 21 beneficiaries from 11 countries. representing research institutions, universities, companies, and forest-related organizations. Here you can see a first group of partners from Italy, Spain, Finland, Belgium, and Greece. This geographical diversity ensures that we cover the variety of the forest environment and supply chain context typical also of the Mediterranean and the European landscape. Here is a second group of beneficiary coming from Spain, France, Croatia, Slovakia, in Turkey, Tunisia, Italy, and Ukraine. This mix of European and ex-European Mediterranean partners increase also the project potential impact across Italy. It also reinforces the opportunity for knowledge exchange, innovation transfer, and long-term collaboration in sustainable forestry. Mediterranean forests also present both opportunity and challenge across the forest and forest wood supply chain. We identify here three main sectors that can greatly benefit from a digital solution. First one is forest monitoring and inventory systems. The second one is related to wood traceability and valorization and grading of wood resource and products. And the last one is related to the decision-making process in forest planning and management. This, for us, represented the backbone of the innovation, an innovation roadmap and guide the development of all project activities. What digital technologies here offer for us a unique opportunity to bridge the gap between forest stakeholders and digital experts. So our approach focuses on three major processes. One is related to the increasing of the number of the inventory, the digitalized inventory forestry, and also through an harmonization of data collection at local scale. The second is related to counteracting illegal wood exchange logging by improving certification and also traceability tools. And the last one is optimization of forest wood. It's related to the optimization of forest wood supply chain and also through new technology, knowledge-based management systems. So in short, we are building both technological tools and also the condition for their application. How the project is structured in 7 work packages, each led by different consortium members. Hunina is the coordinator, is work package 1, then we had also coordinator work package 4 related to forest management decision support system. Then we have Sert, that is the leader of work package 2 related to forest digitalization, while Cian Harris, leader of grading and traceability of wood resource. So we have also DBL, that is the oversee demonstration with end user, while Pedal ensures sustainability and uptake, while Heller, the lead stakeholders engagement and dissemination. So this is structure and current progress from technology development to testing of adoption of these technologies. Within the project, we had also the opportunity to establish 4 pilot sites spread across Italy, Greece, and Spain, each focus on a specific challenge. In Italy, we focus the attention on food qualification, tagging, and traceability, while in Greece, in Kavala, we combine ground-based and remote sensing for movement of forest inventory. While in Spain, we did some activity related to monitoring and traceability of wood for forest cargo transport. While in Spain, in CREAF, we assess ecosystem services with digital tools. So in addition, we have also to pilot, we have 5 replication sites in Croatia, France, Tunisia, Turkey, and Ukraine. This side allow us to test this scalability and adoption of our solution to different ecosystem and forest management framework. They also support early adoption beyond the core pilot areas. That's all. Thanks. Please, thanks for me to listen to me. Here is just to give you an overview of the efforts of DigiMedFor to modernize Mediterranean forest management by integrating advanced tools through the forest wood supply chain. Our goal here is to promote sustainability, transparency, and efficiency while supporting also local stakeholders and the valorization of forest resources. Thank you for your attention, and for more information, please, I kindly invite you to visit our website. I will now be happy to give the floor to the next speaker, and thanks again.
Okay, I think it's my turn. Just a moment to share my screen. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, not in presentation mode.
Yeah, just a moment. Now it should work.
No, it's perfect. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And of course, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this webinar. My task today is just to describe a little bit what the traceability is and why this activity is important in the forest sector, and especially in the commercialization of forest products. First of all, let's see a little bit what traceability is. And for this, I refer to the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, definition. The traceability, according to the ISO, is the ability to trace the history, application, or location of products, parts, or services. It covers the origin of materials, processing history, and distribution after delivery. It's essential traceability for identifying the non-conformity of products, managing eventual recalls, and ensuring quality of the process. Organizations, operators, if you want, must use suitable methods to identify outputs, control unique identification, and maintain documented information. Of course, traceability is vital when operators have to demonstrate the legality and the sustainability of their forest products, the forest products they handle. And for this, establishing the provenance of goods, they are in a better position to assess the risk related to illegal logging or illegal timber sourcing, and of course to comply with the regulations in force. Is it possible to have a short checklist, to mention a short checklist for traceability of timber products? And as you can see here on the screen, that we have these potential 5 main questions. Which species are in the product? Where were the trees sourced, the origin? Were the timber legally harvested and processed or not? This is, of course, fundamental. Were the forests managed sustainably and legally? And how is material tracked through the supply chain? This is the definition and the description of the basic, let's say, traceability. But now I would like to have a look back just to better understand why we are speaking about traceability today, and not only today, of course, but in our daily life when we speak about forest products. And for this, I would like to have a look back around 8 years ago. The FAO, at the beginning of its history, it was established, as you know, in 1945. And just 3 years after the birth of the FAO, the organization made its first forest assessment, worldwide assessment. And in an article in the journal Una Silva, the forest journal of the FAO, the authors concluded that if managed properly, forest resources would provide future generation with all the timber they would need, using quite a concept of illimited, let's say, source of timber. After some years, last year in 2025, the latest forest resources assessment indicated that just in the last 35 years, we have lost about 324 million hectares, mostly in tropical regions. And this with a rhythm of about 11 million hectares of deforestation per year. So it's quite evident that this is one of the most serious issues, environmental issues that we have to face every day. And this was a look back, and now a look forward. What's the future? What could be the future of our world forest if just look at the production of timber, which is then traded and used every day. And here we have an outlook still from the FAO in this publication, where the potential, let's say, future use and need of timber products was assessed. And as you can see here, while in 2020, the consumption, and we are just speaking about primary processed wood products now, the consumption was about 2.3 billion cubic meters roundwood equivalent in 2020. Then in 2050, excuse me, we will have an increase, an augmentation of the consumption of timber. So the question is, are world forests able to produce all this additional timber? And this is an open question that not only now we now are trying to evaluate, but also it was in the mind of the main Forest International Organization at the beginning of the 90s. So we could mention here, for instance, the birth of the concept of sustainable forest management, which was dealt especially by the Ministerial Conference on the Protection of Forests in Europe in the first two big events in Strasbourg 90 and Helsinki 1993, where the definition of sustainable forest management was written and accepted worldwide in a few years, beginning from the Rio Earth Summit in 1992. And in 1998, this concept was also somehow taken on board by the G8, which was held in Birmingham, G8 Summit, where the Action Program on Forest was built. And for the first time, there also the concept of illegal logging appeared and was recognized one of the 5 priority conditions for sustainable forest management. What is illegal logging? It is illegal logging is the harvesting of timber in contravention of the laws of the country of harvest. It's quite a general definition, but it's worldwide accepted nowadays. And of course, illegal logging, it's a global problem with significant negative economic, environmental, and social impact. This is the definition and the concept by the European Commission about illegal logging. We have to say that the European Union has made some, how can I say, very strong decisions in about combating illegal logging. And at the beginning of this century, especially in 2023, we had the approval of the action forest, the so-called Flag T action plan, forest, legal, and governance, which also contain somehow the regulation, proper regulation, such as the EU timber regulation adopted in 2010, and then lastly, but not least, the 2023, the EU deforestation regulation. Both these regulations work on a concept of due diligence, which is a procedure that all the operators placing on the market timber and also other forest derived products has to put in place. The timber regulation of 2010 is just focuses just on timber products, but the EUDR regulation, the so-called deforestation-free products regulation, deals also with several other commodities which are considered as drivers of deforestation worldwide. We are speaking about very important commodities such as bovine, coffee, cocoa, and soybean, and also natural rubber. Of course, timber remains one of the most important and for us very interesting commodities, and operators are obliged to deal with this due diligence procedure that I will show you in a moment. When we speak about due diligence, we speak about a three phases procedure, starting with the collection of information about the products, about the supplier, and so on, followed by a risk assessment, and the operator has to determine if his product is really compliant with the regulation in force. And I'm speaking about UTR, but also EUDR. And on this slide, this is the typical, let's say, UDR due diligence phases. And you see in the first box, the one where so-called information requirements, that the operators must retrieve information on the product, the quantity, the forest species, we are speaking about timber now, its supplier, country of production, origin, and geolocation. This is very important, or raw materials, date of harvest, evidence of no deforestation or forest degradation. And of course, he also has to know very well the legislation which is applicable in the country of harvest. Then, apart from this collection of information, the operator has to deal with a risk assessment, trying to evaluate all the information he has, pieces of information that he has collected in the first phase, just to understand if against some, let's say, risk indicators, his product is really compliant. Then he has to evaluate the information and taking into consideration the extent of forest in the country or in the region where the products are from, the deforestation rate, the presence of indigenous peoples, corruption, the fact that documents collected are really reliable, are not forged or falsified somehow, and also other aspects such as human rights or the presence of EU or United Nations sanctions against that very country. Of course, now we are speaking about also traceability. When we speak about supply chain complexity, we really refer to traceability because this is the only way how to describe the supply chain and to be sure that the traceability item is properly dealt during this exercise of due diligence. There is also a theoretical or potential, let's say, third phase, which is called risk mitigation, in which the operator, if he is not convinced about the fact that his product has an negligible risk, he has to somehow integrate the procedure of due diligence, collecting new information, or even acting with independent audits or third-party verification. So this is, in a nutshell, the structure of due diligence. Now I would just a little bit insist on which kind of information is more relevant for timber products. First of all, verified information confirming the products are deforestation and forest degradation free. So unless these goods this timber derived from low-risk countries, as defined by the European Commission, the operator has to also assess the risk of deforestation in the plots where the timber was taken, where the trees were felled. So other basic information, the proof that these materials are, of course, in line with the legislation in force, again, in the countries of origin, the presence of forest concession, timber harvesting permits, acquisition contracts, documentation confirming the property rights, such as land registry extracts, and also proof of tax payments and evidence of compliance, of course, with all the framework, all the legislation, not only limited to the forest, let's say, sector, but also a larger, broader spectrum of environmental legislation. Of course, now we have to consider also all the documentation useful to assure the traceability. And this for reconstructing supply chains, including transport and transaction records. This is why it's very important to collect all the information, not only on the origin, but also on the, let's say, further life of the curriculum vitae, if you want, of the products that the operator is going to place on the market. What about risk assessment? Of course, we have seen that once all the information has been collected by the operator, he has to make this exercise of risk assessment. And it must be primarily based on the risk assigned to the country of production, because of course not all the countries in the world have the same profile of the same level of risk. Then the operator has to verify what we have already said about the presence of indigenous people, deforestation, reliability of the documentation, and going back to traceability, the so-called complexity of the supply chain and product processing, in particular, difficulties in linking products to the plot where the raw material were produced. This is very important. You see here a small picture image on this slide where, for instance, is described the origin of a piece of furniture produced in China with timber coming from Brazil and China itself. So the operator, when is going to place this kind of product imported from China, for instance, has to declare in a due diligence declaration, which is compulsory for the compliance with UDR, the provenance and the geolocation of every plot where of land where the timber is coming. So you understand how could be really difficult to trace and to assure traceability in this condition. I think that in the few minutes available, I have at least given you an idea of what traceability is, and I think that now Luigi will continue trying to show you what the DigiMedFor project is doing, has already done in terms of traceability with the technologies that the project itself has developed and produced. So I stop here and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Angelo. Thank you for this comprehensive presentation, as you mentioned, in this time slot available for this webinar. And I think actually we will continue with Manuel, if you are on the wire, and he will present policy aspects and legislative frameworks on ecosystem services, and then Luigi will continue with all the DigiMedFor efforts on these two topics. So please, Manuel,
perfect. Okay,
start your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Let me share my screen 1 second. Okay, so now you should be seeing my screen.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you and welcome, and thank you for being here this morning with us. So I'm Manuel Marín, and I work at PFC Spain on the Department of Sustainable Forest Management. And as Laura said, I'm going to give you some lines on what have we done as PFC and inside the DigiMedFor project about the ecosystem services matter. So just to start, I wanted to give some examples of what are the ecosystem services according to the most applied classification. First of all, we can find the provisioning services, which are typically products or objects like food, water, timber, or fruits, and every kind of direct product that forests can give to us and we can harvest. Continuing, we have the regulating services, which are based on the natural process in forest ecosystem, like climate regulation, water purification, or carbon sequestration, which is the most famous nowadays, I think. And lastly, we have the cultural services, which, for example, could be recreational and aesthetic values, or spiritual and religious values, which are also really important, and nowadays are the engine for most of our European forests that can take advantage on these kind of services. I wanted to make more or less what Angelo did, to see the recent history about all these ecosystem services matter, and I wanted to present you this slide in which you can see more or less, not from the beginning, like we have in 1992 the Rio de Janeiro conference, UN conference, in which we started to not hear about the specific word ecosystem services, but we started to see the first idea, or the milestone of what would it become in the future and in the present day. So, as I said, we started here in 1992 with the UN conference about biodiversity and conservation. And After that, in the 1997, with the Kyoto Protocol, we already established for one specific ecosystem service the need of quantification and validation according to some standards, which was the carbon removal, of course. And after that, in 2015, with all the other ecosystem services were integrated in policies inside the Sustainable Development Goals. So if you don't know SDGs, there are 17, and at least in 4 of them, the ecosystem services are something really crucial to compliance these goals. And more recently, in 2022, in the coming Montreal GBF convention, 30% of the oceans and terrestrial ecosystems. And this also is really important regarding to the ecosystem services, because we can see this term now gets the enough importance to be managed to gain to get these goals. So all of these international commitments have a direct impact on the European regulatory framework. And we can see here the European Green Deal and the Biodiversity Strategy 2030 and Forest Strategy 2030 are the 2 main strategies that that can affect other little regulation, like the Nature Restoration Law, the UDR that Angelo already talked about, the EU taxonomy regulation that describes which economic activities can be considered as sustainable activities. Then the CSR directive, the Habitats directive, and the Water Framework directive. So all of this regulation has a direct or indirect impact on forests, and also forests can be the solution to compliance all of these regulation, as you would probably know. But also all this regulation establish new challenges. For example, the 3 main challenges that we identified regarding this ecosystem services matter would be the first of all, the lack of economic valuation. This well, it's a problem, not a problem, but it's a really pointing challenge, because if you don't have enough economic interest, companies and other entities are not going to see all the ecosystem services as something profitable. So we have to well to give these ecosystem services an economic value in order to companies can invest in this. Besides, we have a limited implement of tools, because of course technology is always evolving, and we are always discovering new tools, like for example nowadays with the AI and all of this. We have to make a standards that regulate this use of new technologies in order to well to have a common baseline from which we can measure these ecosystem services in order to give that economic valuation in a solid way. And of course, we are all in the same regulatory framework, but also we have different inside Europe, and we have to adapt all this benchmarking to the reality of our own lands. So I wanted to give just some 2 ideas about PFC certification and how can we help to balance all these goals and how we contributed into the creation of the DigiMedFor solution for the ecosystem services. So just for you to know, the forest certification is based on two main pillars, which would be the sustainable forest management certification, which is focused on how we manage the forest and how it is done, all the activities in forests, and this is a third independent part, and then
We are losing
the
you,
chain.
Manuel. We can't hear you. Manuel? Is this just me or everyone?
For everyone.
Okay. Manuel, we cannot hear you. We cannot hear
Yep.
you. Maybe you can close your, I don't know.
Okay, just now you hear me?
We couldn't hear you for a while. Now it's a better. Yeah.
Yes, now we can hear. We can hear.
And
it's the same, like it's interrupting.
Yes.
Maybe you close your
came back.
camera.
More or less.
Try closing your
Check
camera first.
one second.
And now you're not sharing anymore.
I think we lost.
Sorry for this technical problem. In the meantime, I would like to encourage you if
Sorry,
you have
Manu's
any.
having problems, so
Yes.
he will be back in like 2 minutes or so.
Yeah, he's here. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Thanks.
perfect. Thank you. Okay, sorry for that. I don't know. We had a connection issue before, so let me share my screen now. And okay, so I don't know where or when you started to losing me. So well, I'm
Basically,
going to.
when you started this slide, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I continue from here. Okay, so I was saying that forest certification is based on two main pillars, which would be the sustainable forest management certification that is focused on how we manage forest, and third independent party would validate this management, and the other main pillar would be the chain of custody part that would cover the all the production chain from the forest to the final user, let's say. So the sustainable forest management part would cover all these ecosystem services I mentioned before, and the chain of custody one would cover only the related to products, to provisioning services. So a forest standard like PFC goes beyond products and harvesting, because it contains regulation and standardization of matters as biodiversity, water regulation, carbon removal, or cultural values. So in these forest certification standards like PFC, we are already considering or having in consideration. I wanted to explain this for you to understand better our role in the DigiMedFor project, because we are an NGO with an international scope, and we can act as a bridge between the forest sector, the landowners or the enterprises, the sawmill entities, and between policymakers, because we of course have to compliance the law, but we also can hear all these voices from the forest sector and translate and take them to also the policymakers. So our I think our part in this kind of projects with this international scope and with all the partners that Luigi presented before are crucial to fill the gap that we saw in this key challenge I talked about before. So just to give to you two examples of what Luigi is going to tell you about now is the efforts of the DigiMedFor project and all the partners in matter. So we created a platform that would be a visor of what and how much certified forests contribute to different ecosystem services like carbon removal, organic carbon in soil, mushroom productions, or birds presence and exported water in the region of Catalonia, and another platform in which you can find as user different ecosystem services related tools and how to use them and how much expertise degree you need to use them and to comprehend it. So that's everything for me, and I now leave the floor to Luigi to explain what Angelo told you before and these tools in more depth. Thank you.
Thank you, Manuel. Thank you, Angelo, for your presentation. Now, just give me a second because I'm going to share my screen one moment. Okay, let's see here. Share screen. 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 Moment. Going to share the screen. Can you see the presentation now?
Yes, yes, it's fine.
Okay, thanks, Laura, and welcome everyone again. Now, I am pleased to guide you through an overview of DigiMedFor effort on both traceability and ecosystem services, and also how digital tools can support forest management in a more sustainable and transparent way.
Luigi, just sorry, we see your last slide.
Oh, sorry. Okay, this is the first one. Okay,
yeah,
now this is the first one. Okay, now just I would like to walk you through the main roadmap of DigiMedFor project, only related to wood traceability and ecosystem services, and just to give you an overview. Before the first element, element is the traceability platform. The first digital tool is the traceability platform. It is a tool built on multiple and different technologies that integrate field data, support food tracking workflow, and also is connected to blockchain services to ensure secure and transparent record keeping. So next, we will show also the tracker app and picture-based system. This tool allows drivers to digital record each transport trip with forest cargo from with simple taking simple pictures and before trucks leave the forest. This also improve monitoring and the reliability of timber logistics. Finally, our third tool is the ecosystem services certification platform, as Manuel already introduced, and which include also a mobile app module dedicated to carbon accounting and ecosystem services evaluation, integration with the certification schemes as provided by PFC. These tools help also the forest managers to estimate and as important, more important, to communicate environmental value and support sustainability forest and also decision making in forest. Well, starting from the traceability platform, this platform is used for us is a administration, for data management, that's data visualization, and also for generation of the traceability report. It is connected to blockchain services, which ensure that every record is stored in an immutable and secure way. On the ground, we relied on a dedicated also mobile app that supports field data collection. And with it, forest operators can add and measure trees, logs, and so timbers, all supported also by RFID tags tagging for unique identification of logs. This is also combined with a drone device that is equipped with a traceability box that records and transmits geolocated flight data. This provides also a verifiable and I can say verifiable, transparent document for forest conditions, also harvesting activities. Together, these tools form the digital, we can say, backbone for improving the forest monitoring, compliance, and accountability. This system allows us also at the end to download a certified report, useful for both due diligence, audits, and communication with clients, contractors, and public authorities. It is for us, is a complete digital pipeline that ensure transparency and trust at every step and trace wood resources from their forest, from the place of the origin. So the next is related to it's another important component of digital tools of DigiMedFor, and this is the tracker app and picture-based tracking, which allows to digital register each transport to each forest cargo from the forest to the soil. So before leaving the forest, we can imagine that the drivers take a forest operator take a picture, a geolocated picture, and a time-stamped photo of the loaded trucks. And inside this application, this mobile app, there is also an AI model that is specifically trained to recognize circular log, cross-section, and automatically detects the number of logs and also the volume, estimate the volume of visible logs placed on the truck. This system indeed improves control over the entire flow of timber from the forest to the soil. It helps also to ensure that transport volume match contracted volume and support public on private public tenders. So this creates a transparent digital ledger shared among forest owners, transport company, and sawmills. This is a single source of truth of timber circulation, of timber exchange. Last but not least, is related to the tools developed for assessment of or certification of forests based on ecosystem services. Then beyond traceability of wood resource, the project also developed some tools related to manage and to assessment of the ecosystem services. First, we developed an AI powered platform that integrates multiple ecosystem services, layers, and support also forest managers' decision making. It helps to say and find the right approach to assess ecosystem services. Second is a mobile app for carbon storage estimation that is based on an existing uh, uh, mobile app made by Trestima. It's a forest inventory app. It is enable for us a fast, efficient collection of field data to support forest decision making and also to estimation of carbon removal. Third is the PFC's digital certification system that allow to the integration of ecosystem services directly into a forest management process, allowing also managers to document and communicate environmental benefits related to managing of the forest. Together, these tools improve the sustainability, transparencies, and communication of Mediterranean forests and ecosystem services they provide every day. Last moment is just to conclude this year is just to highlight again that the project promotes sustainability and transparency and efficiency of forest management in the Mediterranean area by supporting the local stakeholders and also try to valorize forest resources and the ecosystem services. Thank you for everyone for your attention again. I again suggest you to visit our website platform of the project just to find additional explanation of the technology that I present here and also other technology that we developed during this project. Thanks again, and now I place to Thor to start with the Q&A section. Thanks.
Yes, thank you, Luigi.
Thank you, Laura.
So far, I can't see any questions in the chat, but maybe there are some questions after your presentation prepared. If there is anyone prepared with a comment or a question, just feel free to add it or
yes.
pick. I can see any. I don't know, Annalisa, maybe if you can see anywhere. If not,
I think we can close the meeting.
okay. So there is no one. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, then. Well, as Luigi said, we thank you very much for being here with us today.
There is,
thank you.
sorry, Laura, there is a question from Anna.
Oh, good. How do we measure and value services as reaction and education? Who is this question for? Maybe you can add
I think this question is for Manuel.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Well, actually,
recreation.
Yeah, actually, nowadays there are multiple ways to measure recreational values. One example would be the cost of the journey that any visitor had to make in order to get that place. That would be the first approach to get an economic value to this recreational service. But there are also more methodologies. That's why, I mean, all of this is the standardization of these ecosystem services and all the measurements and how we validate them is something pretty new, and even the European Union is not yet clear about how to measure and how to validate all of this. This is why it's important to to be a little ahead, because we can contribute to policymakers for them to have some idea and to speak between and each other to make a policy most satisfactory for all parts. I don't know if I answered the
Well,
question.
thank you. So the conclusion is that we still didn't get there.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
There is another question. Are there any data on reliability of traceability systems?
So I can try to answer this question, because we are so related to the second tracker app and picture-based system. The CESEFOR, that is the leader of that is developing these tools, is now in the phase of testing of this technology. Is at level of development, is a beta test. Now they are testing, and they also, if you can take a look to some videos that they post on the site of the project and also on the YouTube channel, where there are a lot of forest sawmill that that find really useful to this type of technologies.
Okay, there was a thank you. And then last call for questions. If there are any other things to clarify, or otherwise, as Luigi was saying, that you can follow us on our webpage and also on our social media and connect to us in any time, and we can you can see all the results of the project and all the achievements. As it was said, many steps are like at the very beginning and need some further steps to be done in the future. So then, thank you very much for all speakers, Luigi, Manuel, Angelo, for sharing your knowledge and experience with us and with our audience. And also thank you for the participants for joining us, for your attention and for your questions. I hope this webinar gave you useful ideas or better understanding of these important topics. And thank you again, and wish you all a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.